In this particular question, we are trying to differentiate an integral from this crazy pi squared divided by 2 to pi squared on top, all right, with cos of t in here. Okay, so this looks really confusing, especially with these pi squareds component, like what is going on there? So let's just make it easy, right? Let's just make it easy. If we were to differentiate something from, let's say, 0 to 1, let's make it something, integrate something from 0 to 1, let's make it easy, something like t, and we would figure that out pretty quickly, that would be t squared divided by 2 from 0 to 1. And that would just be really simply plugging in the value of 1, where t is, dividing by 2. And I like keeping the brackets because otherwise I tend to make mistakes. And we can see that the right-hand side is equal to 0. So scratch that, and we get left with 1 times by 1, so 1 squared. That's just equal to 1, so 1/2. Okay, so imagine we know that this thing is equal to a half, right? So what happens if we try and differentiate that? So we're going to try and differentiate it with respect to x, and we've got a half. It is equal to 0. I guess that makes sense, right? What is the slope of the curve that has a value of 1/2? Well, it's 0, right? The ball doesn't roll anywhere. It just sits there. So basically, if it's a constant, then it's equal to 0. Now, if we look really closely at the beginning one, we see that pi is just like any other number, any other constant. It's just 3.14. So hopefully you can see that this will be equal to a constant. This whole thing here in red is going to be equal to some number, some constant. Okay? And if you try and differentiate a constant, well, it's equal to 0. So to let the marker know what's going on, we can say that this crazy integral here, all right, because this is worth 2 marks, by the way, all of this craziness, this is equal to some constant, and nope. So you can just write it as a constant, and then so dx for constant equals 0. So that's it. That's all you need. It's simple in the end once you know what's going on. But breaking it down into a simpler example first, I guess will help you understand what's going on. So I've got heaps of other questions like this. If you need any help, let me know. Write to me. Be happy to respond.